Ciao e benvenuti al Tavolo Italian. Today we'll be talking about conjugating irregular verbs in the future tense in Italian. Real quick, 2 footnotes before we start. This lesson assumes that you know how to conjugate regular Italian verbs in the future tense and understand subject pronouns and basic conjugation principles. If you do not, you may first want to review the video on conjugating regular verbs in the future tense. Okay, the future tense will express an action that will happen in the future. Go figure, huh? Examples of this include, I will go. We will give more. He will have 2. They will see. By the way, these are also examples of some of the verbs we'll be talking about today. It's actually very easy to conjugate irregular verbs in the future tense. In fact, after you learn the stems for the irregular stems for these verbs, it's actually easier than conjugating the regular verbs in the future tense. Not all the verbs that are irregular in the present tense are irregular in the future tense. For instance, the verb salire, or to climb, is irregular in the present, but it's treated as a regular verb in the future tense. This means that we have fewer irregulars to deal with than in the present tense. Another plus is that the root of the verb is what is irregular and not the conjugation pattern. Let's review the regular method for the future tense, the regular verb conjugation type. Okay, for verbs ending in ere, if you remember correctly, what you do is you actually remove the infinitive ending, and then you add er in place of the are, and then the future conjugated ending. So it would be ero, erai, era, eremo, erete, and erano. For the verbs ending in ere, you drop the ere, then you add er, and then the last letter, for instance, on eo is o. That's the future conjugated ending, and you go on down the line for that. Now, in essence, for the ere verbs, it's almost as if you're only dropping the e, and you add o, I, a, emo, ete, anno, if you take a look at that. And the same is true of the ire verbs, because the endings are iro, irai, era, iremo, irete, and erano. Once again, if you look at that, it's the same as just dropping the e off the ere or ire verbs and then adding o, I, a, emo, ete, anno. The only difference is on the ares, instead of it being aro, the a becomes an e, ero, erai, era, eremo, erete, erano, erano. Okay, and then our example is that we have the infinitive minus the infinitive ending plus the conjugated ending equals a conjugated verb. In this case, we considered the er and the ir as an ero and iro, part of the conjugated ending. So the example we had was guidare minus are equals guid plus ero equals guiderò, or I will drive. Okay, and looking at the endings, we see that they're actually a part of or a modified part of the infinitive ending, as we were talking about. For instance, all of the are and ere verbs start with er, and the ire verbs start with ir. After that, the conjugated endings are actually the same for all 3 conjugations, which are o, I, a, emo, ete, anno. If you remember the regular future tense conjugated endings, remember it was either ero, erai, era, eremo, erete, erano, or iro, erai, era, eremo, erete, erano. But the endings, the very end of the endings after the r was always the same. O, I, a, emo, ete, anno. These are all we need to worry about with the irregulars, the actual endings themselves. We do not need the er or ir. We merely add the true endings listed above to the irregular future stems. Example, A-N-D-R, andra, irregular future stem for andare, plus o, andrò, or I will go. Okay, so the real key here is learning the irregular future stems. While that isn't the goal of this video, we're here to discuss how to use them, how to use the future stems. Here is a list of irregular future stems that can be found on page 34 of the book Verb Drills by Paola Tate, which, by the way, is a great book on the Italian verbs. So real quickly going through them, andare, andra, bere, bere. Now, I don't roll my R's that well, so there are those of you out there that I'm sure can do that better. Dare, dar, fare, far, sapere, sapere, vedere, vedere, avere, avere, cadere, cadra, essere, sar, porre, por, tenere, ter, and venire, ver. Now let's take a look at three of these. Bere, sapere, and essere. Let's go back to this one. Okay, il tempo futuro for bere. Okay, if you remember, the stem for bere was ber, B-E-R-R. So we end up with bero, berai, bera, beremo, berete, and brano. So you can see we simply added the 6 endings, true endings, to the irregular verb stem. For sapere, we have sapro, saprai, sapra, sapremo, saprete, saprano. And for essere, the irregular verb stem for which is sar, we have saro, sarai, sarà, saremo, sarete, saranno. By the way, it's sa. If you're saying it real slow, the third person or first person plural is saremo, saremo. Make sure you do not pronounce 2 M's because that actually makes it the conditional tense if you were to do so. But you can see how easy the future tense in Italian really is for the irregular verbs. It's just a matter of learning the irregular stems because the conjugation is identical. It's actually a very simple tense to learn the irregular verbs for. Okay, now let's have a little test here. Let's see how many of these irregular stems you've learned and apply them. So I'm going to give you a verb conjugated in the future tense, an irregular verb, and let's see if you can give me the English. So the first one is andrai. You will go. Berranno. They will drink. Andrà. He or she will give. Faremo. We will make or do. Saprai. You will know. Vedrò. I will see. Avremo. We will have. Cadrò. I will fall. Sarai. You will be. Verrà. He or she will come. Okay, how'd you do? Remember, obviously, you can watch this video as many times as you want. Go through that, practice, get yourself familiar with some of these irregular verb stems for the future tense in Italian. Now let's try taking it in the other direction. Sometimes a little more difficult. I will read you the verb conjugation in English. I'll give you a few seconds to see if you can produce it in Italian. Here we go. I will go. Andrò. We will drink. Beremo. You all will give. Darete. You will make. Farai. You all will know. Saprete. You will see. Vedrai. I will have. Avrò. He or she will fall. Cadrà. We will be. Saremo. They will come. Verranno. Okay, grazie mille. That was the irregular verbs in the future tense in Italian. So happy you stopped by. Remember, there's a lot more information on that topic and all topics of grammar about the Italian language, and it's all for free at www.iltavoloitaliano.com, where all the online resources for learning the Italian language are always free. Please stop by, look around. We have crossword puzzles, printable crossword puzzles, online exercises, an Italian-American pen pal program, photographs of Italy, and so much more, all for free. Remember, that's www.iltavoloitaliano.com. Ciao, grazie mille e parlo italiano.